My name is Joaquin Prado, and member of OMA staff. And what we are going to present today is the concept of the OMA Developer Tool Kit. So everything started as a challenge. And at the beginning, what we have here is OMA is producing specifications, as you know. We produce specifications in a PDF. We make it publish in the website, but we make sure that it's buried down, far away from nowhere anyone can find it. And then we wonder why our specifications are not being adopted by the market. It's fantastic specifications, and why they're not taking it. So we look into that, and this is our output: specifications in a PDF. And when you look at exactly what the developers they're doing, is something a little bit different. What they need is code, they need test servers, they need to have forums where they can discuss about specific problems that they have, and have some challenges like hackathons and other type of activities. So obviously you can see we fall short. OMA is not providing, or has not been providing, what is needed for this community. So we thought about what we can do and how we can fill that gap, that bridge. And the response that we have is the OMA Developer Tool Kit. So OMA Developer Tool Kit is a series of tools, and we are going to see more detail, which we try to do is to make it easy, eliminate the barriers that from the standards to the developers. Obviously, initially, a while ago, we wanted to have the developers coming to OMA and do standards with us, and certainly that is not going to happen. So this is the way we move forward. This is a pilot, which means is we are doing the lightweight end-to-end to start with. Then there is another two just waiting once we complete the first pilot. And eventually, probably by the end of the first quarter, we will go back to the working groups and say, okay, this is our findings, and this is what we believe you can evolve the current specifications in a way that can be integrated with the tools you will see here. This website is, initially was aiming to have a central focus where we are going to put all the information, and it's a pain to maintain, I have to say. And at the same time, it's not aligned with the idea that eliminate barriers in order to talk to the developers. So what we are going to do is going to eventually move everything into GitHub, or as much as possible. So in terms of the OMA Developer Tool Kit, is 5 different components. And these components are produced by OMA. And what we have here is, in the inner circle, you can see the first one is the web documentation. And they say, okay, great. What we have done is convert the Word documents into web documents. Sorry, the Word documents and PDF into web documentation. So it's easy to go and search, and it's very easy as well for the search engines to index, and therefore when you do any search, you can obtain the information directly. The other thing we have done as well is to do a technical summary in a very light way. In 10 minutes, you can have an overview of what exactly is in the specifications. And then it's being linked with the web documentation where you want to go into detail and learn a little bit more about the specification in particular. Another thing we have done, and this is going to be presented here, is the it's a simulator. We are going to simulate the client and the server. This client side is already completed, and Matthias is going to do this presentation for us today. Another component we are piloting as well, in OMA recently we have quite a few pilots going on, is to develop the specifications in GitHub. And this is a little bit different. You guys normally use GitHub for version control and for build your code. The things we try to do in OMA is to build the technical specifications. And now you can see, if we build the technical specifications and we put in GitHub, the publication into the web documents is very easy. So GitHub has internal benefits for us in terms of reduce in a way, streamline the process that we have inside of the standards, which is sometimes too heavy. GitHub is going to help us to eliminate some part of the red tape in the process, but at the same time it's going to allow us to put the specifications in a language that you can take directly. And the other tools that are coming along, they're going to be as well put in GitHub. In fact, Matthias already have upload to GitHub his tool, and from there you can evolve it. And the other thing we have, and Frida has mentioned about that, in the lightweight end-to-end, one of the important things is to have objects. So OMA has a register for these objects. Anyone can register the objects, and we will see later a little more detail on this. And we have built a tool to allow you to build these objects. And the objects, as you know, is just like a similar of an object is a tree with the leaves, and each leaf is you can put a resource on there, some information, and the server can go and extract this information, read it, execute in some cases if there is an executable in that particular leaf. So as I said, this is the OMA Developer Tool Kit. It's a pilot. We have the website where all this information is coming together. We are working as we go along, so you will find that sometimes not all the information is there, but just give us some time. Then we work in the outer circle, which is the ecosystem. And this ecosystem is companies like yourself. Some of them already want to contribute and to work on this. And what we have, in particular, Julian is going to talk about what is going on in Eclipse in this space. And some of they took some of our specifications, as you well know, and they have developed some software code. They have as well a sandbox already up and running. Anyone can go and test against this box. And we have Antonio is coming with his team, and he's going to do a demo on how to take one platform, install the lightweight end-to-end client, and start doing some, some queries and functions like that. So we are going to see that today as well. And the final thing, and most important of all of this, is the community. And what I mean by that, OMA is in the domain of OMA to build these tools. But if we are going to do exactly the same, we build the tools and we live in one corner and say, okay, guys, here you have. In my view, the important thing is to create some kind of community where you go and say, okay, these are the tools, and use them, give us your feedback. And I can see already that some companies, they are telling me, hey, we would like to contribute to this particular activity by providing a server that you can use to test the test cases in OMA. And other people say, we have some integrated IDs, integrated development environments where we can provide that as well. And the idea from OMA is that we establish, we go to Stack Overflow, we create a community in a way, but we don't own it. And the only interest you will see in one of in one of the presentations I have later is just to listen to that community, and they get the feedback into the standards in order to produce tools that are more aligned with what you need. So the next two slides is just explaining more or less what I have said. All these presentations will be made available after the event. We will upload it to somewhere, and you will receive the information for that. And at the same time, Simon is right on the back, is doing a filming and is doing the live streaming, but all of this is going to be recorded and it will be made available. So, web documentation. Let me just give you an example of how this should work. And as always, when you go live, things tend to sometimes not work in the way you want. So let's see. What we have done here is just very simple. Take the... I knew that. Always happen. So any idea why? Okay. And it's coming with the wrong one, but nevertheless. As I said, in the web pages that we have created, we have taken the specifications and converted into web-based documents. So if you click in one of those, it will take you to, I might still have it now. Let me see, we changed right before the presentation, we changed the browser. Should not make any difference, but it does make a difference. So ideally, you should come to this page, where is, in this particular case, is technical specifications, and you say, okay, I want to do a search for one particular method. You go there, and then you say, okay, let's go to check that. What is the response they give me? And you can see all the, this is the current specifications are exactly the same. We haven't done any changes. The only thing we have changed is the format. Make available and put it there on the web. As I said before, it's easy to index, and then when you are doing any search in Google, potentially you can end in one of these specifications. Okay, I'm going to leave this open just in case, because I have another one coming. And this is about the technical summary. As well, this browser is not working. Okay, I download it. This is something that eventually is going to be produced by the working groups. And the idea is just in a very simple and graphical way to give you an overview of any of these specifications. So for example, you say, okay, lightweight end-to-end interfaces. Obviously, you can see these links. This link is pointing back to the web documentation that we saw before. And you say, I want to know more about client registration. And you say methods and the table. And again, in a very quick way, you can go through the different components for that enabler, and you can dive into a generic, initially with a generic concepts, but at any point you can use the links to take you directly into more detail in the specifications. So that is something that, as I say, there is a pilot done at the moment, but we will come, or the working groups, they will be working in more detail through all of this.